Hi everyone, welcome to the video. We're going to keep it pretty casual for this episode. The month of February stock photography and videography earnings. Over February and beginning of March I've developed a bit of carpal tunnel syndrome, and I've actually had to take some time off work just to recover. So my uploading of videos and photos has taken a back seat until my arm and shoulder recovers from it. But I did manage to upload a handful of photos and videos way back in the beginning of February. And that's when Storm Eunice came over the Netherlands. And I went out and I found some trees that had fallen over a road that was blocking traffic, and I took some still photos of that with my Canon 70D camera and the 17mm to 50mm Sigma medium zoom lens. And I also took some video footage of it in 4K 30 frames per second with my Panasonic Lumix FZ300. Getting really technical there, but I just thought I'd throw that in case some of you might be interested. I uploaded the photos and I think there was about 6 or 7 of them. They all got accepted. And then I uploaded about 3 videos to Shutterstock, and I had to do some adjustment of the exposure, and I also put in some stabilization, which was called warp stabilization in the software of Adobe Premiere Pro. And after keywording and adjusting these videos and uploading them to Shutterstock, they all got rejected, so it was really disheartening. That's happened to me before, so when my arm recovers, I will upload those again, and also to other agencies. I also uploaded the videos to Pond5, and they stayed in processing for a long time. So if they've been accepted to Pond5, I'll just take the stabilization off from Warp Stabilizer and upload the videos without the adjustments to exposure and see if that makes a difference as well, because the rejection reason was for artifacts and other technical defects in the video footage. I've also been over February trying to do some more book covers, and what I did was I went down to an island in the south of the Netherlands, and I took my newly purchased Manfrotto tripod. I think it's called a Manfrotto Pro something 290. It's more of the lower range of the price for tripods, but I've known people who use this style of Manfrotto tripod before, and for bang for your buck, they're a really good piece of equipment. For years I've been relying on cheap tripods, but I realized when I wanted to do book covers that I was going to need to do a lot of vertical shots, so I'm starting to invest in the equipment that I need to do those kinds of shots, because book covers usually require a vertical or portrait style. And sooner or later I'll have to get an L bracket as well for my camera, so it's not so hard on the ball head of the tripod by turning it vertical. So I took about, I think, a dozen keepers for the book covers, and what I did was I went to a harbour down on the island and just photographed myself standing stoically in front of this harbour, and I also changed what I was wearing, and I also sat down on a bench and tried different poses with different clothes on with these self-portraits. And what I did was I'd put the camera on self-timer of 10 seconds, run to the seating bench and try all these sitting poses and wait for the camera to go click, and then I'd put on a jacket or take off a jacket, and I'd try something else. I also went into the streets of the old town on the island and photographed myself walking along these deserted streets, usually from the back. I also tried some as I'm walking side on to the camera, but I'm not sure how successful they were. None of these photos that you'll see have been edited for book covers. So far I've just taken the photos, and because of my carpal syndrome, I haven't done a lot of mouse work with editing photos, writing, or making keywords and stuff. I'm going to have to give it a rest for about a month. So these photos are unedited and just, you know, like raw. But I also went out into the countryside while I was down there, and I found some deserted tree-lined lanes and roads, and the style of books that I had in mind was like suspenseful thrillers. So I tried a number of different poses, like a single stranger walking on the road or standing on the road looking menacing. And at one stage I had a tire iron in my hand, implicating some kind of form of drama. So I think my exploration into book covers is slowly coming along, and I'm just experimenting, and I'm happy with the progress that I've made so far. Okay, now I'm going to get into my results for February, but before I do that, if any of you guys want to, feel free to buy me a cup of decaf cappuccino and donate the proceeds instead of to my stock photography channel. Instead, donate it to the Red Cross that's providing aid to the thousands, or I think hundreds of thousands, maybe it's up into the millions now, of Ukrainian refugees from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And feel free to donate to that established charity organisation. So I'll start off with my second most successful agency in February, and that's Shutterstock. On Shutterstock I've got 2,300 images and still only 135 videos. I was hoping that was going to be up around the 140 videos in February, but they got rejected. I had the most amount of downloads from customers on Shutterstock since July, I think, of 2021. And that was 67 downloads. But despite that success with the amount of downloads, of course, Shutterstock dropped my commission rates down to level 1, like they do with everyone at January of each year. So a lot of those sales were just 10-cent sales. However, I did sell 5 videos on Shutterstock, but I only sold the highest grossing one for $6.45. So for 5 video sales I only made $12.88 in February for Shutterstock. And for my photos I've only risen to level 2 so far with the commission rates for Shutterstock. So some of the highlights for photos for Shutterstock in February was one of the Peace Palace, the United Nations building called the Peace Palace in The Hague, and that was a photo of the building and a nice blue sky in the background, and that sold for 78 cents. Woohoo! Another one was of a street scene of the Rotterdam skyline, and I made this photo during the first YouTube video I'd ever made for my channel, where I visited 8 Dutch cities in the Randstad in one day, and I took stock photos in each of those cities, and it took me the entire day to do, and by the end of it I was just totally exhausted. And I think that YouTube video earned me a total of maybe 120 views. So it was a complete waste of time, but not totally, because I sold a photo from that for $1.20 in February. And I've also sold other photos of the Rotterdam skyline from that trip as well, so it hasn't been totally in vain. I've sold loads and loads of flower photos in February. That's because the Dutch flower commercial growing season starts in late March, April in the Netherlands. And over the years I've gone out to the flower fields and made loads of photos of the tulips and daffodils and the irises and things that grow in the fields around Lisse in the middle of the coastal region of the Netherlands, also near the Kokenhof. And one of those flower photos was of some daffodils that I shot low down with the sky behind it, and that earned me $1.87. Another highlight was I was just given some Dover sole, which is a flat fish, cooked in breadcrumbs and fried in a cooker by my next door neighbour. And they gave it to me on this really old-fashioned porcelain plate. And I just thought that makes such a really nice still life image. So I just took a simple photo of this battered fish or breaded fish on this nice plate on my kitchen table, and that photo earned me $1.90. In total for February 2022, I earned $30.21 from Shutterstock. Okay, for the small agencies now, ranging from Dreams Time to 123RF, Big Stock, Deposit Photos and IEM, I earned $4.89. With Getty iStock, I think I had about 15 downloads. It hasn't been performing too well for me over the last few months, and February I didn't upload anything just due to my sore arm, and in total I earned $15. There were a couple of highlights. I sold 2 photos of the poor old seabird, the gannet trapped in plastic on the beach, and they sold for $6.33 each. Okay, for Adobe Stock now I have 1,090 assets, mostly photos, some editorial but mostly commercial, and I had 26 downloads in February. In total I earned $16.88 for Adobe Stock. There were some highlights. One of them was I sold, I think, 6 flower photos, which was pretty good, and good to see that the trend of selling those flower photos every late winter in preparation for the coming spring continues. And I sold also a photo of the tree that's fallen over the road for 41 cents. And also one of my kids during the start of lockdown, where I came up with a concept where they would be fighting over a roll of toilet paper. And you just see their hands pulling the toilet paper towards each other, and that photo earned me 99 cents. And that brings me to my last agency for February, and my most successful one, and that was Alamy, unexpectedly. But I only sold 1 photo for Alamy in the month of February, but it was sold for quite a significant price, and more than for the total of Shutterstock and the other individual agencies. The photo was taken when I was field testing the Canon RP mirrorless camera with the RF 24mm to 240mm super zoom lens, where I got up early one morning and I just started taking photos of the Hague skyline at sunrise at different focal lengths, ranging from 24mm all the way out to 240mm. And that photo on Alamy has done pretty well. I've sold it before as well. I think I sold it last month for $3.50 or something. But in February, I sold that photo for $56. So that really helped my bottom line in February. So in total for February, I earned $124. And that was for about 2 to 3 hours work uploading those photos and videos of the tree damage during Storm Eunice. And the rest of the time I was just watching the websites and seeing what they were doing. I couldn't move my arm, and I still have to go to the doctor tomorrow to get it diagnosed and see if I can get some physio and stuff for it. So I think my recovery time will take about a month. So I'm going to have to put my health first instead of the uploading. I will edit this video for you guys, of course, just so you know that I'm still alive and thinking about stock photography. How are you guys going? I know the world at the moment is posing some huge dark clouds over us at the moment, so it might be difficult. Well, I found it difficult also to focus over the last couple of weeks with everything that's going on. I hope you guys are also holding up okay, and if you're thinking about the Ukrainian refugees, then check out the International Red Cross if you want to donate to that. I will see you guys in the next video, and look after yourselves. Let me know how you're going, and I'll talk to you later in the comments. Bye.